Hi everyone and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve and today is Monday, July 7th, 2025. This is episode 415. If you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for checking out this month's podcast. And if you're new, I hope you enjoy the episode. Click the like and subscribe button and the bell notification if you want to be updated as to when I release my monthly podcasts, as well as the floss tube you may have seen before this. So, like I said, my name is Steve, and my partner Andy and myself own Leading Men Fiber Arts, specializing in our own hand-dyed yarns, as well as our storefront and studio, which we carry everything from commercial yarns to other indie dyers to tools, needles, hooks, craft kits, project bags, anything you can imagine. So I will have our website, Leading Men Fiber Arts, linked down below. And if you like what you see and you want to support us a little bit further, we will have our Patreon linked below as well. Our funds raised via our Patreon help to maintain and improve the historic Taylor McGill building here in Clinton, Illinois, a little small town in central Illinois. And Leading Men Fiber Arts purchased this building about 2 years ago. We've done a little bit of improvements and some maintenance, but the building is expensive. And so we thought the Patreon might be a fun way to get some of our patrons to help in our journey. So feel free to check that out below. There's a 1 month and a $5 a month tier, getting you some perks and exclusives to the Leading Men Fiber Arts store. So let's jump right in. What's been going on over the last month? Not a whole lot. We did one travel for work. We went to Rochester, Minnesota for the Zombie Knitpocalypse retreat. I did not attend the retreat this year like I did last year and in years past. But Andy and I did drive up for the day to set up on Friday and sell on Saturday. So we drove up, left early Friday, got there mid-afternoon on Saturday, and checked into our hotel, unloaded, set up. I think we had leftovers at our hotel. We were pretty exhausted, and then we were up early and we sold during the retreat market in the morning, and then it was open to the public in the afternoon. It was a great event. We got to see so many regulars from that retreat, as well as meet some new friends. And we packed up on Saturday, and we had ambitions of driving about halfway home. It's a little over a 6-hour drive for us. And so we were going to drive about 3 hours, stay the night, and do the finish the last 3 hours on Sunday morning. Andy really wanted to get home, and I said, that's fine. I don't mind doing the full drive, but I am not driving once it is dark. We both do not like driving in the dark anymore. So I did like an hour and a half of the 6-hour drive, and he did the rest of it. But we did get home a little bit, like right around midnight on Saturday night. And so we got to enjoy our Sunday off. And we say do things around the house and maintain our household, but mostly we just veg and craft and watch movies and TV, which is excellent for us. So that's all that we've done. We've been open. We've had crafternoons. We've had different events here at the store. If you're interested, definitely check out the homepage of our website under events if you want to know what's going on at the storefront, as well as subscribing to our newsletter. So that's been about it over the last month. Andy's been growing tomatoes at home. His sunflowers are still growing here in the back of the studio, and his yuzu tree, Stanley, that I've mentioned in the past, he's moved out to the back lot as well, and the sun has been doing wonders for Stanley. So no new pictures to show on that. There's nothing really to show, no actual sunflowers yet. A few green tomatoes on our tomatoes at home, but I do not enjoy tomatoes, so that is purely a Andy hobby, growing them and eating them. He loves fresh BLTs in the summer if he can get them. I don't like tomatoes, never have. I can eat ketchup, I can even eat pico de gallo and salsa, but an actual tomato. Anyway, let's talk about what I finished over the last month. I finished two things. One, I finished yesterday, last night before I went to bed, but the first thing I finished is a big one, and that is Camp Wilkerson by Caitlin Hunter. I used Leading Men Fiber Arts Dramaturg, which is our superwash merino DK weight, in the Shadows in the Trees, Fireball, Dust in the Wind, and Dirty Truce colorways. And here she is. So it is a pointed wrap done in garter and stockinette with a little bit of lace work in the middle. And there is the end. Now, you can see my purl ridge here. I knit this according to pattern since this is a shop sample. I reread the instructions several times. Maybe I was reading them wrong. The other two ladies who were knitting this wrap for part of our Create and Collaborate, they didn't really read the directions. They just assumed they knew what they were doing, and theirs looks fine, but I knit mine to pattern, and it said to knit that wrong side row, which left me the purl ridge. So I left it because I didn't feel like ripping it out. Plus, when it's a sample, I can say I knit it to pattern, but you know. Anyway, so the dark green is Shadows in the Trees. This multicolored on either end is Fireball. The neutral is Dust in the Wind, slightly yellowish pinky tone to it. And then we have Dirty Truce in the middle. So I did weave my ends in. I knit them in as I went, which made it a lot easier to block and then trim them all. But it came out to a wonderful size, and I cannot wait to get an FO photo, which you saw in the beginning. I haven't actually taken that photo yet. I'm going to do that after I record. And then this will get labeled this week and out on a mannequin in the studio side so that you have inspiration for what to make with our yarns. So that was a lot of fun to knit. I did enjoy knitting this one. It was a little bit of a slog. You know, it took a little bit longer, but the finished product is absolutely beautiful. Let me take a quick drink of my lemonade here. My second finished object, I finished last night, and in fact, none of the ends are woven in. I'm thinking about commandeering our shop assistant, Sue, and being like, hey, this is for the shop. Please weave my ends in. Normally, I would never do that, but there are a lot of these. So I have the beginning and end to weave in, but all the other ones that I'm going to show you here in a second. So this is the Travertine Cowl by Mary Pranica. And this is a cowl designed by Blue Sky Fibers. And this is using Blue Sky Woolstok, which is a 50-gram skein of their worsted weight in Gray Harbor for the main color. And then I used one of their 21 color Woolstok mini skein bundles in the Bramble and Fig colorway sets to do the stripes. So you get 21 colors, you get 7 colors, 3 5-gram mini skeins of each. So each 5-gram mini skein did 2 of these stripes, and it worked out wonderfully. In fact, I have very little of the Gray Harbor left. This is a great cost affordable project. I think the bundle is 36, the skein of yarn is like 9. So for $45, you get a wonderful cowl. And you do have a lot of ends to weave in. So every stripe is cut, and I quickly knotted them in the back like a loose knot that I can undo. But they're all the ends. And while if it was just hanging on a mannequin, I might not weave them in. But I figured this is going to get a little bit of attention in the shop here. And we have a couple different color sets. We got the Bramble and Fig. We've got 2 other ones. I think we got Fire and Ice and Fall Leaves or something. So you can pick out a different coordinating main color for each of those and make a cowl. There's wonderful pattern support for their Woolstok bundles. And this was just the first and easiest one that I thought I could bang out as a sample of what to make with those Woolstok bundles. So check those out online or in store if you stop in. We would love to show you this in person, but I loved this slip stitch detail, and it does offset by 1 stitch each repeat. So you kind of get those jogs, which add to the color play. And I'm really happy with this. I did knit this on a size 8 US 5mm needle. I did not tell you what I knit the Camp Wilkerson on. That was a size 6. You do not change your needles for the ribbing. And it is a longer cowl than I was anticipating. It's one of those kind of bunch up cowls, but it's done. And I have 2 finished objects this episode, so I'm excited. All right, let's talk about what are my works in progress though. I only have 2. I'm gonna talk about the third one here in just a second. But yes, let me move these out of the way, move these over, got to get myself organized. The first project that I put some stitches into is Stole by Theresa Gaffey. I'm using Isager yarn Alpaca 2 in 9 different colors, which are listed in the show notes down below. And picture here of what it is going to look like finished. I am on to the 5th color, I think. Nope, I'm on to the 6th color. So I'm on to the green. And here's where we are at so far. Let me get the working yarn in back. So this is just a big ribbed piece of fabric that will be blocked out like that. And it'll be a big old stole. So as you can see, we started with gold, moved into taupe, blue, orange, purple, and now we're in green. I'll have 3 more colors after this. This is very mindless. I'm gonna be working on this while I edit the podcast in the floss tube. And this is being knit on a size 5 US 3.75 millimeter needle. And it's been a joy. The alpaca yarn is very nice. It's been getting a lot of attention as I've been working on it at different events and things. So, excuse me. It's like I never get any hiccups, but when I'm talking on the regular while recording, I'm inhaling more, and then the drinking because my voice gets scratchy. I'm gonna drink another sip of lemonade. All right, the second and only other work in progress that I have currently on the needles, I did start a new project, and it is going to be my Reinbeck sweater. I am knitting the So Basic Sweater DK by Maxim Sear. And I've knit the So Basic, the original fingering version, twice. I knit it once for myself, and then Andy actually asked me to knit him a sweater. So I knit him one. This is the DK version. I am using, picture here of what it'll look like finished. I am using our newer base called Targhee Twist DK. This is milled and produced exclusively for us, Leading Men Fiber Arts. And I designed this yarn for a multitude of reasons. So this is a 3-ply DK weight Targhee yarn. So it's a Targhee wool. 2 plies are superwash and 1 ply is non. So you get this barber pole effect, especially it's more prominent in darker shades. Some of the lighter shades do not show the barber poling at all or as much, but that's okay. It's still a lovely, springy, Targhee, bouncy yarn. Ribbing looks absolutely wonderful in this. And so this is in the red-handed colorway. Now, I needed 6 skeins for my new size, newer size to me. I'm doing the 48, I think, because I think I'm a 45 now. And it recommends 2 to 6 inches of positive ease. So I figured 3 inches is right in the middle there. So I needed 6 skeins. I can only dye 5 in a pot at a time. So I did 2 dye lots of this. My second batch dyed longer and got to a higher temperature than the first batch. I liked the color of the first batch, which looks like this. But I did need 1 skein of the second batch, which is darker. It's very hard to see, but in person, it actually knit up. It's coming out a little bit more than I was anticipating. So I did start, and I'm in the middle of the short rowing. And what I was going to use the darker skein for was the ribbing at the collar, the cuffs, and the bottom ribbing. And so I did, and I didn't change my yarn until a couple rows after the ribbing, so whatever. But I will show you here, this is the beginnings of my sweater. And if you can see here, I am not going to be alternating skeins since the majority are from the same dye lot. I think it's okay. My lighting is looking very dark here, but that's okay. I have my recording lights on, but can you see there the change? So it's gonna be a dark band around the neck and then go in this lighter. I'm too lazy to rip this out. This is the front. I'm too lazy to rip it out and redo it because I'm like, I should have enough yarn in the 5 skeins, but I don't know. Rather be safe than sorry. I was like, maybe I don't want it at the top. Maybe I'll just put it at the bottom cuffs and weight the piece at the bottom. I feel like this is going to draw a lot of attention, but is what it is. This is being knit on a size 3 and 5 US, which is very small for a DK weight for me. But the 3 is for the ribbing, the 5 is for the body, and it's a 3.25 and 3.75 millimeter needle. But that's going. I do not knit a lot of garments, so getting this ready, and I had to follow the German twisted cast on, which I hope I did right, but I followed a YouTube video from Andrea Mowry on how to do that. And then having to do the short rows and the back shaping, I'm not used to that, so I really have to think when I sit down and work on that. But it's going well, other than the things I talked about. So the next thing is a plan I'm going to be casting on tomorrow, is our first Create and Collaborate Club for Q3 in our, here at Leading Men headquarters. And our challenges for Q3 are fingering weight, orange, and socks. So it's just a challenge to be able to try to meet all those criteria. If you meet any or all of the criteria, each criteria you meet, and finish a project in those 3 months using any of those, you get a $5 store credit, max of 15, if you do all 3 criteria. So I had Andy pick out a skein of yarn, self-striping sock yarn, from my stash to knit him a new pair of socks, and he picked this out. This is from Redbird Yarn Studio. I believe I purchased this at the Wool Gathering in Yellow Springs, Ohio many years ago. I think the year after the pandemic, so it was like 21 maybe. We have not been back there in a few years. We are on the wait list to return this year since we're not going to DFW. But this is shades of blue with orange and cream, maybe even a brown, and it comes with the orange mini for my cuff, heel, and toe, so I'm perfect there. So I'm going to get this wound up tomorrow, and I will cast this on at our first club meeting, and I'm excited to get started on a pair of socks. It's been a really long time since I've had a pair of socks on the needles. At least it feels that way to me. All right, spinning. I don't have anything to show you, but I am plying some Apothefaery Fabrications, 80% fine merino, 20% silk. It did not have a colorway name on the ball band, but I did call it October Nights. The singles are, of course, spun. I am now plying. I will hold off to uploading that to online and here in store until I see you next month and I get to show you that. But that will be done, and then I will randomly draw from my fiber stash to see what I'm going to spin next. Andy's Lego, I did tell him if he wanted me to show something off that I would need a picture. So he took a picture of his poinsettia, which I'll insert right here. And I don't know when he finished that, but there was a little, it might have been even been a freebie he got when he purchased a number of sets. But that is the Lego poinsettia that he has finished previously. All right, let's talk about what we're watching and reading. I did finish, I cut some stuff out because I didn't want this to be too long, but I did finish 2 books that I wanted to recap for you. The first one I finished is called Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is from the Empyrean series. This is book number 2. The third one, Onyx Stone or Onyx Flame, I don't know. That one just came out. This is what got me listening to the series. I finished the first one a couple of months ago. This is the second one. I did give it 4 stars, and here's the synopsis for Iron Flame. Everyone expected Violet Sorrengail to die during her first year at Basgiath War College, Violet included. But threshing was only the first impossible test meant to weed out the weak-willed, the unworthy, and the unlucky. Now the real training begins, and Violet's already wondering how she'll get through. It's not just that it's grueling and maliciously brutal, or even that it's designed to stretch the rider's capacity for pain beyond endurance. It's the new vice commandant who's made it his personal mission to teach Violet exactly how powerless she is unless she betrays the man she loves. Although Violet's body might be weaker and frailer than everyone else's, she still has her wits and a will of iron. And leadership is forgetting that most important lesson Basgiath has taught her: dragon riders make their own rules. because Violet knows the real secret hidden for centuries at Basgiath War College, and nothing, not even dragonfire, may be enough to save them in the end. So this is a continuation of course, the first one, and this is about her realizing not everything that she has known since childhood is the truth, and that she is acquiring more secrets while, of course, enhancing her skills and bonding even stronger with her dragon and other side characters. So I don't usually, this is not my typical genre, but I do really enjoy it. I've recommended it to you all and Andy several times. Haven't gotten him to start listening to it yet, but I will give it a couple of months and then I will probably listen to the third one. The second book that I listened to, I actually heard this reviewed on the Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast. Amy Beth is a wonderful human being, and I do enjoy her analytics of life in general, but also what she's reading and her crafting. So if you have not watched the Fat Squirrel, I have watched Amy Beth for many moons. I do consider her a friend. We're not, best friends, but she is a good human being and a good friend. And I do always enjoy when I get to see her in person. I got to see her in Indiana a couple months ago, as well as a group of her friends that I also know, and it was great to see them. So this is The Lost Story by Meg Shaffer. I heard her review it, and I added it in my want to read on Goodreads. So I did listen to it, and I enjoyed it. Here's the synopsis of that. Inspired by C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, this wild and wondrous novel is a fairy tale for grown-ups who still knock on the back of wardrobes, just in case, from the author of The Wishing Game. As boys, best friends Jeremy Cox and Rafe Howell went missing in a vast West Virginia state forest, only to mysteriously reappear 6 months later with no explanation for where they'd gone or how they'd survived. 15 years after their miraculous homecoming, Rafe is a reclusive artist who still bears scars inside and out, but has no memory of what happened during those months. Meanwhile, Jeremy has become a famed missing persons investigator. With his uncanny abilities, he is the one person who can help vet tech Emily Wendell find her sister, who vanished in the very same forest as Rafe and Jeremy. Jeremy alone knows the fantastical truth about the disappearances, for while the rest of the world was searching for them, the two missing boys were in a magical realm filled with impossible beauty and terrible danger. He believes it is there that they will find Emily's sister. However, Jeremy has kept Rafe in the dark since their return for his own inscrutable reasons. But the time for burying secrets comes to an end as the quest for Emily's sister begins. The former lost boys must confront their shared past, no matter how traumatic the memories. Alongside the headstrong Emily, Rafe and Jeremy must return to the enchanted world they called home for 6 months, for only then can they get back everything and everyone they've lost. I really enjoyed this. This was a fairy tale for adults. It didn't take itself too seriously, but dealt with some dark personal matters that had to be dealt with internally, and it gave this internal struggle a world and realm in which to process and deal with those things, which I thought was really ingenious. They did kind of leave it off at a small cliffhanger to give it the possibility to continue the story, like winking, tongue-in-cheek, winking at the audience that hopefully they get the opportunity to continue on. And I hope they do. I would definitely listen to the next in this story. Again, that was The Lost Story by Meg Shaffer. So those were the 2 novels that I finished over the last month. I'm going to quickly go through some TV shows and video and movies that we've watched. TV, we watched American Primeval on Netflix. This is a lot. Be prepared to deal with a lot of not good people and a lot of death and gore. But that being said, it is the telling of a Western journey of this single mom trying to get her son back to his biological father, and she has to travel. She's trying to escape her past on the East Coast, which you come to find out that there's more to her story. And through this journey, you meet all these other people, including the Mormon sect out in the Salt Lake City area, and them trying to set up in the West, and what went on between them, the settlers in the West, as well as the indigenous population in the West, and how they're all fighting each other. And I had read something or heard something from someone that this story really did not want to portray anybody in a good light. It is dealing with the darkness of humans, and it does do that. It is a limited series on Netflix. I say if you're ready to deal with some of those dark stories and tellings, and you're mentally prepared for that, give American Primeval a shot. I also watched The Better Sister. I believe this was on Amazon Prime. This stars Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks as two sisters who have had they are two very different people who have branched off over the last 15 plus years into two very different lives, but yet they, through the murder of their husband, one was formerly married to him, one is currently married to them, and he is murdered. There's an investigation, and their son, because the son is the biological son of the original wife, who is dealing with mental and addiction issues, and the other sister has raised him since he was a toddler, is also involved, and it's about them building their relationship through the investigation and figuring out what happened due to this murder. I thought it was very good. It wasn't amazing, but I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. So that is The Better Sister on Amazon. We also finished The Rig season 2, again on Amazon. This is very much a sci-fi dystopian, where our world is going, but not dystopian, but hey, let me hit you over the head with what could potentially happen. So this is probably the final season. It had 2 seasons. This season, they are following the ancestor, which they found in season 1, which is this millennial old organism that has been found very, very deep in the earth. And they were coming to terms with it, realizing what it was, and battling it in season 1. Now in season 2, they've realized that it is trying to communicate with them, and it is trying to warn them that if we continue to drill or fend off this organism and deplete the earth of its resources, and by that killing off this ancestor, we have no way of, even after these extinction events, to come back as anything really living. We have no baseline to go back to, was the warning. And so it is very sci-fi. It is very, it's not Space Odyssey, because they're more under the ocean in this one, or under the frozen earth in this season, but it is very sci-fi. So if you enjoy sci-fi, I give The Rig a thumbs up. This will have some British actors, some I've noticed for Game of Thrones. It also has Emily Hampshire from Schitt's Creek in it, so give that a shot. And then we also finished watching The Bear season 1. We ran right into season 2. We are really enjoying this, especially once you get through a lot of the darkness in season 1. We had heard it talked about as a comedy in season 1. We're like, this is not funny. This is dealing with a lot of stuff, a lot of stress. And maybe it's because we're small business owners. We're not in the restaurant world, but we understand how much goes into running a small business, and the stress that it takes, that we were rather stressed sometimes for the main character. This stars Jeremy, is it Renner, or he was in Shameless. He's really having a glow up these days with The Bear and some of his new projects. but really enjoy the writing, and the actors, especially the first couple of episodes in season 2, were like, they just have a really good flow and banter between them. That is on Hulu. Movies we've watched: Presents, I believe this was on Amazon. This has Lucy Liu in it. This is about, you'd recognize some of the dad in it is from This Is Us, I believe. This is about a couple moving into a new home so that they can be in a better school district for their son, who is some kind of sports prodigy, and they're doing everything they can to give him the best shot possible at a future. Very much his mother's doing, and then their daughter is dealing with some mental health issues. The dad connects more with the daughter and is trying to support her, and they move into this new house, and there is a presence there. What is really interesting about this is it is not so much a scary movie like a ghost story. It is a ghost story, but the camera angle is from the angle of the presence. So you are the viewer as if you are the presence throughout the whole entire movie. I believe they said it's directed, is it Stanley Kubrick directed this? So it's almost like you have a body cam on as you're the presence following these people around while they live their lives. And that is very interesting. That was a new take for me. That was mentally engaging. So I highly recommend The Presence if you're in for a bit of a kind of metaphysical, metaphorical ride almost. Check out The Presence. Then I don't remember, one night I was having a hard time finding anything to watch, so I went along for this ride. This is called F, Marry, Kill. This, I believe, was on Hulu. This is a fun thriller, comedy, satire. And this woman, our main character, is out of a long 8-year relationship, and she's trying to get back out there, and so she ends up joining dating apps, which many dating apps can be used for quicker meetings than dating. So she's been kind of dating a few guys, and while this is going on in her area of, I believe, LA or somewhere, there is a serial killer out there, and he's using the dating apps to meet these women. And so she's dating these guys, but she has like warning signs from all 3 of them based on this podcast that she's listening to about these murders. And so she jokingly has to decide which of her dates she's going to F, which one she's going to marry, and which one is the serial killer. And at one point she thinks all 3 of them is the serial killer. So she's kind of, Anyway, it all gets resolved in the end. The serial killer is caught. It is not who you think it is. And, it's kind of a commentary about, we all enjoy these murder mysteries and these murder podcasts, and it seems like there's murder everywhere, to the point that it causes a sense of paranoia and anxiety, and that it gets really hard to put yourself out there in the world because you have all these things you have to be worried about that were not so prevalent in the past. So that was F, Marry, Kill. And then the last movie we watched the other night just came out, called Sinners. Came out on streaming. This was on HBO, I believe. Lots of names you'll know in there. I believe Michael B. Jordan is the main character. He plays a set of twin brothers. He's acting as both. Haley Steinfeld is in this. This is set in the 1930s in Mississippi, where 2 twin brothers are coming back home from Chicago with a truck full of liquor and guns and things, and they are trying to set up a juke joint in their hometown in Mississippi. And so it's this story of them trying to set up this juke joint on one day, and they get friends from their past as they come back home to help them set up this juke joint. And they do get the juke joint going, and on that one night, a traveler shows up wanting to play music at their juke joint. It is a vampire. I'll put it out there. The genre of the movie kind of shifts halfway through. Andy was saying it reminded him of like Dawn of the Dead, where you think you're following one movie and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're here. And then there were some there was a lot of music based in this movie as well. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed Sinners. If you want to give it a shot, it's hard to explain. It takes you on a journey, and I highly recommend Sinners. So that's what I have been watching and reading. Stash Enhancement, I was pretty good at the Zombie Knitpocalypse, but I did get to chit chat with quite a few of our vendor friends, one being Michelle of Woolens and Nosh. And I did I purchased some yarn from her. She actually got a sweater's lot of our Diva base to make herself a top out of our Merino silk fingering weight yarn. So we got that dyed up and sent out to her. I did not care for the colors of the ZK color this year, so I didn't get the exclusive ZK colors, but I did get this set of self-striping sock yarn on her superwash Targhee fingering base. This is 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon in the Les Garçons colorway. So this was a collaboration between her and the Les Garçons boys, Max the Knitter, Maxim Sear, who I'm doing the So Basic DK sweater. He is one of the partners in Les Garçons. And so it came with a matching mini, so this will be a pair of socks. I almost had Andy pick this because it's got this peachy, and I'm like, that's kind of orange, but I let him pick. He went with this one. You can see some similarities, but this is added to my stash for at some point. And then our auction for June has come to a close. I did leave the hat next door, excuse me. If I was a better podcaster, I'd edit out all those, but it is what it is. Okay, the Color Tracks hat auction. We did raise $50 with the hat from last month. Thank you to Ursula, who was the highest bidder for that. We do get to see Ursula every month or two as she visits our store on the regular. So thank you so much for your support, Ursula, and thank you to everyone who placed a bid on that hat. We can't thank you enough. Again, all that money is going into our maintenance of the building. And our auction for this month, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you will have access to place a bid on this. I was holding off on this, but we did not actually get any of the shawl in the ball from Brenda and Heather Yarns in, and we don't have any immediate plans to get it in. I'd love to, but it's not immediate. So I'm gonna auction off my Who's Who shawl. This is from Dyed by Ba Yarns, Brenda and Heather Yarns out of Indiana. And this was dyed to stripe like this. So it's just a basic triangular shawl that I started. If you've been watching for a while, this was a whip of woe. I took this to start on our Cancun trip in January, and I had to rip the needles out flying back from Cancun to Chicago at TSA. So it lived in a project bag for 3 weeks until I got the gumption up to pick up all the stitches, which I was able to do, and finish it here in the last few months. This is based off of a Doctor Who scarf, I believe. I do not watch the show, but that is the colors and the striping sequence. And so, yeah, you just knit until it's done. The ball's done. I have a new ball that I bought at YarnCon this year for our next vacation. I was telling Andy we need to get that on the docket, but hopefully in January, February of 2026, we will be able to go on vacation again, another one of our beach vacations, which is our reset vacations. I told him I'm open to any and all other vacations, but I do need 5 to 6 days off a year where I can go turn off, relax, don't have to worry about traveling to different locations or being in another country or all that stuff. I just want a place where I can go and shut down for a week, and that seems to be our place. He has plans and would love to go to a multitude of other places, and I am open to that. But that is not like a reset vacation, if that makes sense. So This is up for auctions on our Patreon. I will get it listed here shortly. The starting bid on this is going to be the cost of the yarn. The skein when I bought it was $44. So the starting bid will be $44. You need to increase your bid in a minimum of $1 increments higher than the previous bidder. And this will close out at the end of July, and I will send you an invoice via Leading Men Fiber Arts. It will ship to you for free, and there will be no tax or anything like that, since it is an auction. And yeah, if you'd like to place a bid, some people like to, set a timer or a weekly or daily reminder to go in and check the Patreon to see where the bid is, and see if they've been outbid and if they need to place a bid, higher bid. Just helpful if you are wanting to stay on top of that. Or some people just leave a tab open on their computer and check in with that. So that's the auction on Patreon this month. I wanted to start something new. I noticed a couple of, especially on floss tubes that I watch for cross stitch, shops putting in finished objects for a photo reel at the end of their podcast, and I thought that would be kind of fun. So I figured I would open this up to our Patreon subscribers. What you can do is email me either via Patreon, or you can email us at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com with a picture of something you have recently finished this past month out of Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn, or anything you finished that you purchased from our store. So that could be a craft kit, it could be something knit or crocheted out of one of our yarns we carry in the store. Does not have to be Leading Men Fiber Arts. But if you would send me a picture of that and the details you would like me to describe at the end of the podcast, I thought that would be a fun add-on. We'll see if anybody does it, if it goes anywhere. But if you are interested or have any questions, please leave a comment on the video below, and I will would love to get a conversation going. And again, I want to show off your wonderful makes as well. That being said, if you are not a Patreon subscriber, link down below at the top will be our Patreon page, either at the top or the bottom of our show notes, will be a link to our Patreon page. There is a $1 and a $5 month tier. All tiers get access to our auction, get access to limited edition director's interpretations, which are one-of-a-kind skeins from Leading Men Fiber Arts. These could be trial colors that we're trying for different projects, or they could be missed dyes or over dyes if we overcook something, or we put in the wrong amounts on something and it didn't turn out quite right. We offer them up to our Patreon subscribers first before they go into the physical storefront. And so you get first access to those one-of-a-kind colors. And then our $5 a month tier get added perks of getting exclusive coupon codes for new yarn sets or projects that we collaborate on, as well as certain things will pop up from time to time that you will get early access to. So like our birthday sale, you will get an early access, probably a whole day. I don't know, I'll probably do a whole day before online, and or many hours before our newsletter subscribers get it. So it's a perk there. When we do things like we did our Pride box last year, you will get early access to those. I'm sure we'll be doing probably a Halloween collaboration with Jesse Ostermiller, Nitty Joe, probably again this Halloween. So you'll get early access to purchase those if you're at the $5 a month tier. So, all right, let's focus what's been going on in the shop and studio over the last month. We have a brand new colorway of the month designed by me. This is one of my massage speckles, is one of my dye styles that I do, called Hot Flash, which looks like this. And then we also have it knitted up in a swatch there, so you can see what it looks like knitted up. And here it is in a skein. So the nice thing about a massage speckle is you get the varying colors and the speckling, but I do massage the dye into the yarn before I place it into water, so it melds some of those colors together and subdues things out so that you get more of a washed over effect, which helps with flashing and pooling. It does not erase it, but it helps to decrease some of those large blocks of color, like with a variegated yarn, a true variegated yarn. So here is the it in a skein. We paired it with our Tangelo colorway for the coordinating semi-solid minis for our sock sets. This is one of the main colors in there. And then we paired it with a pom-pom from Gypsy Dreamer Crochet. These are handmade pom-poms in the Bordeaux colorway for our hat set. So I think we only have 2 hat sets left. I think there was only 2 pom-poms in stock. And we do have those listings up today and tomorrow. Our colorway of the month is up for pre-order at a exclusive discount for the first week each month. And then we update what we have dyed up left in stock at regular price. It'll become a regular colorway after that. But you do get the exclusive discount if you buy at the first week of the month. So that's Hot Flash. And then I want to talk to you about our gatherings here at the store. Like I said, tomorrow night, Tuesday the 8th, is our first Create and Collaborate for quarter 3 here at the shop. And that is every other Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. If you are local or want to make a little bit of a drive, come on out and visit us every other Tuesday for Create and Collaborate. We then are open Friday and Saturdays when we are home. July, we're not doing a ton of traveling till the end of the month. So we are open this Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th. We are excited to be welcoming in a knitting guild from Springfield, Illinois on Saturday afternoon. So a couple of them are going to be dyeing some yarn. They're going to be hanging out in our craft lounge with our shop assistant Sue and shopping and having a good old time visiting the store this Saturday. And then next weekend, Friday and Saturday, July 18th and 19th, we will be open as well. On Saturday, July 19th is our monthly crafternoon from 1 to 4. And then we also will be hosting a local Knit Stars meetup on that Saturday, the 19th, from 1 to 3. Technically to 4, we're going to be here, but we just made it from 1 to 3 before we knew crafternoon was going to be the same day. Our shop assistant Sue is part of Knit Stars, and this is something that they're doing where they are having people who are involved with Knit Stars become ambassadors and host local Knit Stars meetups all over the world. I think there are over 200 ambassadors, and we are lucky enough to have one of those ambassadors on staff with us. So she is hosting her Knit Stars meetup during our crafternoon on that Saturday, and you can bring snacks, there'll be bottled water, and meet some local people here from the shop, but also meet other local people who are part of Knit Stars, which is an online community, and you can meet people in real life. So we are so excited to be welcoming some new faces for that event here at the store. And then also don't forget, we have a multitude of knit-alongs and make-alongs going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group, which is linked down below. Check those out. We have different knit-alongs going on at any given point with exclusive coupons and other perks and gift cards as prizes for our knit-alongs down below. So check that out. And then upcoming events. So we are doing 2 trunk shows, one-day trunk shows at 2 shops here before I record again. We are going to be going down to St. Louis at the end of July to Seven Sisters Yarn and Fiber on Saturday, July 26th from 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have moved locations since we've been down there last year, so we're excited to see Michelle's new shop. And come out and visit us at Seven Sisters on July 26th. We are excited to hang out with Michelle and talk to all the lovely customers down in St. Louis. And then the next weekend, we are going to Carmel, Indiana, which is a suburb outside of Indianapolis, to a yarn market. And we are excited to be showing up at this store for the first time. We have met the owner. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I'm so sorry. At a couple of different events, we've even done a little Zoom meeting with her to show, so she could show us her shop. She has a small shop, but there is a communal conference room in her building's complex. So we're going to be down a little hallway in our own conference room for shopping, but we are super excited to be welcomed at their shop and to showcase our lovely yarns to her customers. So come check us out at a yarn market in Carmel, Indiana on Saturday, August 2nd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's what's going on for the next foreseeable few weeks. Other than that, we are going to enjoy our summer. Andy has been doing a little bit of cooking and baking. He has made chocolate chip cookies over the last few weeks. We are finishing up some fresh strawberry jam that he made a few weeks ago. So he made some fresh mango jam, but out of frozen mangoes. So it's homemade jam out of frozen mangoes. I get to try that soon. I've been having a lot of peanut butter and jelly toast for lunch because it's easy when we go home and I don't have to think or put a lot of work into it. So I may actually go ahead and have some of that as my lunch when I'm done recording here. Yeah, we've been just enjoying being home for a few weeks. It's been kind of a nice summer respite, especially as it's been kind of warm here. But we've also been focusing on some events here at the store, which has really been doing wonders for my soul and my heart, seeing some attention given here. So we're so excited to see where things go. We are also welcoming a brand new staff member tomorrow, who we have known for years. One of our friends, Anna, who was formerly a dyer behind, oh my goodness, Black Cat Fibers. Antoinette and Anna used to both dye yarn for that company, and Anna stepped away from Black Cat a few years ago due to personal reasons, and she actually has moved from Milwaukee to Illinois, and she is not in our town, but she is within drivable distance. She is driving a little bit to join us here at the team. But we are so excited to welcome Anna with her wealth of knowledge, not only in dyeing yarn, but yarn itself. She also has a wealth of knowledge with crochet. So she is going to be working in all facets of our studio and storefront. She is going to be Andy's right-hand assistant, essentially, to do washing pans, prepping yarns, getting dyes ready. She's not going to be actually applying dye for a little while. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but she is also going to be helping with the twisting and labeling that our studio assistants do, as well as helping with crochet knowledge and here in the storefront. So we are excited to welcome Anna. Tomorrow's her first day, and we are excited to see what she brings to the family here. We are a tight-knit family of our employees as here at LMFA, and we think she'll be a good fit. So we're super excited for that. So if you get to stop in the store and see Anna or any of our studio or shop assistants, we have now grown to a family of six people, which is kind of crazy, including Andy and myself. We have our wonderful studio assistants, Mary and Kristen, who are just doing wonders on the studio side as well as helping here in the store. But they are the ones who do all of the twisting, labeling, stocking, for all of our yarn that goes through the studio. And then we have Sue, our shop assistant, who is here 1 to 2 days a week, helping out in the store and just being a wonderful resource for people coming into the storefront. And then, of course, now Anna, who is going to be all over the place. We had a good sit down with her. She's been to our house before, stayed at our house many years ago. And so we had her job interview on a Sunday afternoon on our couch, talking about what we needed and if we thought that was going to be a good fit for her. And she is open to all of our needs to create the position for her. So yeah, Andy has really high hopes. We're really looking forward to being able to add her in, to be able to produce more yarns, to be able to be ready for some major things going on this fall with our 16-day yarn tour we're going to be doing in the north, in the eastern part of the country, as well as being prepped for wholesale and some major things going on in the future that I'll talk about. But yeah, thanks for letting me chat with you. I feel so good at the end of sharing my monthly updates with you here. Thank you for giving me the space. I feel safe here. I feel welcomed, and just thank you. You all have been reinvigorated my crafting motivation, which has been weird to have it go away when your life now revolves around it, which is not so weird to say. You know, when it becomes your everyday 24/7, sometimes you got to make some modifications. That's where cross stitch has really helped me with learning something new, but it's also reinvigorated what's new out there in the knitting and crochet world. And I'd love to hear what you all are working on. So let me know what you're working on down below. If there's anything new out there in the knitting and crochet world, a cool pattern you would love to see worked up as a sample, link though, let me know down below and I'll take a look. I would love to get inspired to, and I might not be me making all the samples, but we have wonderful people here to do some shop samples. And yeah, so I will catch you in August, which is going to be a big month here at the studio. It's our annual birthday month. As I am turning 40 in August, the shop is turning 13, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. No, the shop is turning 12. We opened in 2013. The shop is turning 12 in, the business is turning 12 in August. So we're gonna have our big sale week in store, as well as our big online sale. And we're also gonna have the Yarn Adventure truck stopping by the shop in August, I believe on the 19th of August. So another cool event going on that is gonna be a create and collaborate evening. So if you are wanting to make a trip, August 19th is a great day. It's a Tuesday, but take the day off from work, drive in, come shop our sale, have some dinner. You can book a local hotel. We have a really cool hotel. It's niche, but called the Sunset Inns here in Clinton. It has themed rooms. So, even if you wanted to come with your significant other, you can make a romantic getaway of it if you want. And yeah, so lots of things to do here in our town if you're looking for a destination yarn shop, which is how we classify ourselves. Put us on your bucket list. All right, until I see you in August, hope you have a wonderful month of making, and I'll check back with you in a few weeks. Bye.